The air in Hattusa, the ancient yet hypermodern capital of the great Hittite dominion, was thick with the scent of spiced hot wine. The low hum of automated bronzalloyed vehicles glided silently along grand boulevards. Palace factories, their colossal stone and polished bronze facades echoing designs from 3 millennia past, stretched towards the sky. They were integrated with energy conduits drawing power from subterranean geothermal vents. In the heart of the city, the Chamber of Thousand Treaties pulsated with holographic projections of global trade routes and diplomatic exchanges. This vast, circular edifice had walls etched with unbroken cuneiform records. It was May 2025. This was a world fundamentally shaped by an unbroken continuity. The Bronze Age collapse, that catastrophic turning point around 1200 BCE, had simply never occurred. The great empires of antiquity had endured, evolved, and reshaped the very fabric of human civilization. The pivotal divergence unfolded during the Late Bronze Age, roughly between 1250 and 1150 BCE. Instead of a cascading collapse of interconnected systems, widespread droughts, migrations of sea peoples, internal rebellions, and the disruption of crucial trade routes, a series of unlikely diplomatic breakthroughs and technological innovations stabilized the region. Pharaoh Ramesses XI of Kemet, the great king Tudhaliya IV of Hutti, the lord of the Mycenaean hegemony, and the rulers of Assyria and Babylonia forged an unprecedented Great Alliance of Bronze. They pooled resources. They shared intelligence on nomadic migrations. They jointly developed advanced hydrological projects to combat droughts. They coordinated a unified defense against the Sea Peoples, repelling them in a decisive, combined naval and land operation. The advanced metallurgical knowledge of bronze was not lost. Instead, it was preserved, enhanced, and perfected over millennia. This led to the development of alloys with properties far beyond what was conceived in our timeline. Kemet, Egypt, remained an eternal kingdom. Its pharaohs, or their constitutional successors, ruled from a continuously magnificent Thebes or Memphis. Their expertise in large-scale irrigation and bioengineering reached unprecedented levels. They managed the Nile's floods to yield endless harvests. They even terraformed portions of the desert. Their grand temples and monuments were perpetually maintained and expanded. They became colossal, self-repairing structures, living testaments to an uninterrupted legacy. The very air in Kemet seemed to hum with ancient wisdom and perpetual innovation. It was a place where the past was not merely remembered but actively lived and built upon. Hieroglyphs, infused with dynamic light, danced on grand pylons, conveying complex scientific data and historical narratives simultaneously. Their cities, built along the revitalized Nile, were ecological marvels. Vertical farms ascended skyward, drawing nutrients from recycled water systems. Ancient rituals of agricultural abundance were woven into advanced robotic planting and harvesting schedules. The population lived in harmony with their environment, guided by ecological principles refined over millennia. Their very existence was a model of sustainable advanced civilization. Kemet's influence wasn't just technological, it was also cultural. Their concepts of cosmic order and balance permeated the philosophies of the entire alliance. The Hittite dominion, from its heartland in Anatolia, became a formidable, highly organized, and technologically innovative power. Their mastery of metallurgy, particularly in bronze and various hard alloys, was unmatched. Hittite engineers could craft alloys as strong as modern steel, yet as light as aluminum. Some were even capable of precise energy conduction or exhibiting limited self-repair. Their administrative and legal systems, rooted in ancient cuneiform law, evolved into sophisticated cybernetic governance structures. These managed vast networks of resources and populations with unparalleled efficiency. They were pioneers in geoengineering, terraforming harsh landscapes, and resource management. This ensured their dominion's prosperity for millennia. Hattusa, with its towering bronze edifices and silent automated vehicles, epitomized their continuous advancement. The subterranean geothermal vents powering the city were not merely tapped but intricately managed by complex geothermal regulators. These regulators themselves were constructed from advanced bronze alloys that could withstand extreme temperatures and pressures for centuries. Their legal codes, etched in light upon public plazas, adapted dynamically to societal shifts. Yet, they always maintained the core principles of justice and order established by their earliest kings. The Hittite military, while less focused on conquest due to the alliance's stability, maintained formidable defensive capabilities. Their bronze legions were augmented by autonomous units and advanced energy shields. The Mycenaean Federation, rather than collapsing into a Greek Dark Age, solidified into a powerful maritime confederation of wealthy city-states. Their legendary shipbuilding skills and advanced navigation techniques allowed them to maintain vast trade networks across the entire Mediterranean. These stretched from the distant Pillars of Hercules to the Fertile Crescent and beyond. Their galleys, now equipped with advanced hydrodynamic propulsion systems and composite bronze hulls, were the arteries of global commerce. They were capable of navigating through even the most turbulent seas with ease. Their political systems evolved, blending ancient council traditions with sophisticated algorithmic decision-making. This ensured a balance between ancient wisdom and modern efficiency. The Mycenaean philosophical traditions, uninterrupted by a dark age, delved deeper into the nature of existence, mathematics, and democratic principles. This was within their federated structure, offering a unique intellectual heritage distinct from our world's classical Greece. Debates in their amphitheaters were now augmented by real-time data analyses projected onto the central stage. This allowed for more informed and rational civic discourse, fostering an environment of continuous intellectual growth and participatory governance. Their naval academies were legendary. They trained navigators and strategists who understood not only the currents of the sea but also the intricate currents of global trade and diplomacy. Assyria and Babylonia continued to be formidable powers in Mesopotamia. Their advanced astronomical knowledge, mathematics, and intricate administrative systems reached new heights. The ziggurats of Babylon, now gleaming with polished bronze and holographic displays, were not just religious centers but colossal observatories and data hubs. Their upper levels housed advanced sensor arrays capable of mapping distant galaxies and predicting celestial events with astonishing accuracy. Cuneiform, rather than being lost, became integrated into digital interfaces. This created a continuous, unbroken record of thought, governance, and scientific discovery. Their scholars, often referred to as scholar states, pioneered fields of abstract mathematics and predictive analytics. Their ancient astronomical charts now served as the basis for advanced cosmological models and global climate predictions. The very air over Mesopotamia often hummed with the faint electromagnetic pulses of countless calculations, a testament to their computational prowess. Cities like Uruk and Nineveh transformed into sprawling centers of quantum research and data processing. Their administrative bureaucracy, built on millennia of meticulously recorded transactions, was a marvel of efficiency. It was capable of managing complex interstellar resource allocation and population movements. The Mediterranean and Near East never experienced the fragmentation and subsequent rise of distinct classical Greek and Roman civilizations in the same form. Instead, the region remained dominated by these long-standing, interconnected empires. The Phoenicians, rather than becoming independent maritime traders who spread their alphabet and trading posts across the sea, operated as crucial logistical arms of the great empires. Their vast trading fleets and sophisticated coastal cities, like Tyre and Sidon, became vital hubs for the exchange of goods and knowledge, serving the needs of the Great Alliance. Phoenician navigators, utilizing advanced star charts and sub-oceanic currents data, charted new routes. They brought exotic resources and cultural insights from distant, undiscovered lands. They even reached the legendary lands of Tin far to the north, now understood to be vast mineral-rich continents. Their famous Murex dye now shimmered with advanced material properties. It was used in high-tech displays and ceremonial robes alike, symbolizing their continued ingenuity. The Greek Dark Age never happened. This meant the philosophical and democratic impulses that defined classical Greece either emerged within the Mycenaean Federation or were absorbed into broader imperial traditions. This led to a different intellectual heritage for the region. Rome, if it arose at all, might be a minor regional power. It could be a well-defended city-state on the Italian peninsula, or a vassal state within the spheres of these ancient giants. Its legions never marched to conquer the world. Instead, they might serve as specialized auxiliary forces for the larger Bronze empires, focusing on specialized engineering or territorial defense rather than conquest. The idea of a single, unifying Roman Empire would be an alien concept in this world. It was replaced by a complex, multipolar balance of power among ancient, continuously evolving civilizations, bound by the original Great Alliance. This enduring peace, however, was not static. It was a dynamic equilibrium maintained through constant diplomatic effort, technological superiority, and a shared historical memory of the catastrophe they averted. Technology never suffered the same setbacks. Bronze remained the primary metal, but through millennia of continuous research, it achieved remarkable properties. Imagine alloys as strong as steel, as light as aluminum, even some capable of precise energy conduction or exhibiting limited self-repair through molecular restructuring. This advanced metallurgy allowed for the construction of resilient, intelligent infrastructure. Vast subterranean water supply systems, gleaming roadways paved with self-healing bronze composites, and defensive structures that seemed to grow organically from the earth, continuously improved, adapting to environmental shifts and societal needs. Ancient cities were not static ruins but living monuments to enduring engineering. Their foundational structures were millennia old yet perpetually updated with the latest technological advancements. This continuous improvement, unhindered by a collapse and subsequent dark age, allowed for an exponential growth in scientific understanding and technological application that our timeline only began to glimpse in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. The concept of lost knowledge was an alien one in this world. Every discovery, every innovation, was meticulously recorded, cross-referenced, and built upon in vast, networked digital libraries that span continents. Complex energy grids, powered by geothermal, solar, and even some early forms of atmospheric energy collection, ensured boundless power for these sprawling, advanced societies. Communications were instantaneous, facilitated by a network of orbital bronzalloid satellites, allowing the Great Alliance to act with unprecedented cohesion and respond to challenges with remarkable speed and efficiency. Their advanced material science even allowed for controlled atmospheric modifications. This ensured optimal weather patterns for agriculture and urban living. Intricate systems of weather control provided a stable climate across the Alliance's vast territories. Quantum computing, powered by specialized bronze circuits, was a common tool for complex calculations, from economic forecasting to biogenetic sequencing. Culture, philosophy, and religion flowed from unbroken traditions. Ancient mythologies and pantheons were not supplanted but evolved, their deities becoming symbols for scientific principles or civic virtues. The Egyptian pantheon, for instance, might represent complex bioengineering processes or the cycles of the Nile. Hittite storm gods could embody principles of geoengineering and atmospheric control. Philosophical schools like those of ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia continued their intellectual lineage, often integrating with new scientific discoveries. The wisdom of Thoth or Enki wasn't merely revered, it was continuously reinterpreted through the lens of advanced physics, chemistry, and computation. This formed the basis of ethical algorithms and societal governance. Religious ceremonies often incorporated holographic projections and immersive technologies, allowing participants to experience ancient narratives with profound immediacy. This fostered a deep connection to their heritage while embracing a scientific worldview. Ancestor veneration, particularly in Kemet and Hutti, was a sophisticated practice. It involved complex AI simulations of historical figures, allowing for direct consultation with the accumulated wisdom of past generations. This ensured that no insight was ever truly lost. This societal ethos created a unique form of technological utopianism, where progress was always harmonious with tradition. Innovation served to enhance, rather than disrupt, ancient ways of life. Education was a lifelong pursuit, available to all citizens through immersive holographic learning environments and direct neural link interfaces. This ensured universal literacy and a highly informed populace. In 2025, the world was a complex tapestry of ancient powers. Some were vast empires, others powerful federations. All were shaped by unbroken historical threads. The Great Hittite Dominion was a global leader in material science and resource management. Its engineers were highly sought after across the world. Their designs influenced everything from orbital habitats to deep-sea mining platforms. The Eternal Kingdom of Kemet was revered for its bioengineering and sustainable agricultural practices. Its scholars advised on climate challenges and resource optimization across the globe. Their insights into ecological balance were invaluable. The Mycenaean Federation controlled vast maritime networks and shared its philosophical traditions. Their trade routes carried not just goods but also ideas and innovations, fostering a constant intellectual exchange. The Mesopotamian scholar states continued their astronomical and computational prowess. Their predictive models influenced global economic and environmental policies. Their quantum computing advancements drove theoretical physics. Global geopolitics was not defined by 20th century conflicts but by the ancient rivalries and alliances that had endured for millennia. These were now playing out on a technologically advanced stage, often through sophisticated diplomatic channels, economic leverage, and cybernetic competition rather than open warfare. The concept of world war as we know it was almost unthinkable, given the deeply interwoven interests and shared history of preventing collapse. Mutual defense treaties, continuously updated through sophisticated threat assessment algorithms, formed the bedrock of a stable world order. The memory of the Great Alliance of Bronze was not merely a historical event, but a foundational myth, a guiding principle for all major powers. High Scribe Neb-Maat, royal archivist of the Eternal Kingdom of Kemet, meticulously oversaw the holographic projection of the Scroll of Avertion. It was one of the oldest and most sacred texts in their unbroken 5,000-year historical record. The light from the projection shimmered across the ancient, polished bronze surfaces of the Great Library of Thebes, a structure whose foundations were laid before 3000 BCE. It had been continuously expanded and updated with new technologies. He moved his hand, and the cuneiform script scrolled seamlessly across the air, detailing the hydrological maps and climate predictions that had guided the Great Alliance over 3 millennia ago. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of papyrus and ozone from the holographic projectors. This was a familiar comfort to Neb-Maat, who had spent centuries of his life, measured in the standard Cometian life extension units, within these hallowed halls. He gently rubbed a smooth, dark obsidian amulet that hung from his neck, a piece passed down through his scribal lineage, its cool weight a steady presence against his skin. "Imagine, Curator Ames," Neb-Maat murmured, his voice a low hum, to his junior. Ames was a young scholar scribe whose neural interface glowed softly against his brow. A world where this pact failed. Where our great cities lay in ruin, our knowledge lost, our people scattered into a dark age. Foreign historians from the fragmented West sometimes theorize about such a catastrophe, their own records showing profound breaks in continuity. He paused, a shadow crossing his aged face, etched with the wisdom of centuries of ancestors. His gaze drifted over the vast, shimmering expanse of the library, the accumulated knowledge of 5 millennia silently humming around them. It is a terrifying concept, yet. I confess, sometimes I wonder if our unbroken path has left us vulnerable in ways we don't yet understand. We are so accustomed to the steady accretion of knowledge, the slow, perfect refinement, that perhaps we've lost the capacity for radical adaptation, for the desperate ingenuity born of utter destruction. Ames nodded, his gaze fixed on a shimmering projection of ancient kings shaking hands. Their figures were imbued with a lifelike fidelity that only millennia of continuous technological advancement could achieve. He ran a finger along the etched bronze railing that surrounded the projection dais, feeling the cool, smooth surface. His neural interface pulsed with a slightly brighter intensity as he accessed real-time data streams. Indeed, High Scribe. Their Iron Age seems to have been born of desperation. It was a crude replacement for lost knowledge, a period of rebuilding from ashes, raw survival forging new paths. Our bronzoloid structures, the very walls of this library, centuries old yet self-repairing through molecular restructuring, speak to a technological path that never needed to rediscover what was lost. We stand on the accumulated knowledge of 50 centuries, unbroken, a monumental legacy. He gestured towards a distant holographic map, where swirling trade routes pulsed with light. But his finger moved to a less frequented section, far to the west, a region depicted in muted, almost gray, tones compared to the vibrant, interconnected core of the Great Alliance. The symbols there were chaotic, ever-shifting, representing a multitude of smaller, fiercely independent entities. Yet, the recent reports from the Western trade convoys speak of increasingly sophisticated ironclad vessels. These are not merely crude replacements, but designs that seem to defy our understanding of material stress and energy efficiency. Their fragmented world, for all its chaos and disunity, seems to be forging something new. It's something that doesn't rely on the legacy of bronze, something born from necessity and hardship. The Mycenaeans expressed significant concern about their expanding maritime reach, even beyond the traditional Phoenician routes into uncharted, tempestuous waters. They are claiming new landmasses in the far western ocean, and establishing what they call colonies with alarming speed. Their growth trajectory is exponential, a stark contrast to our own carefully managed expansion. Neb Maat sighed, a rare tremor in his voice, his usual stoicism momentarily giving way to a flicker of doubt. The faint hum of the library's systems seemed to echo his unease, a low thrum against the backdrop of their peaceful existence. He turned from the scroll, his eyes meeting Ames's, a deep concern etched into his features. The Council of Pharaonic Successors convenes next month. They have requested a comprehensive analysis of the Scroll of Avertion, not merely for historical reference, but for guidance on the current Western question. He paused, then continued, his voice gaining a deeper resonance. The Hittite Dominion is gravely concerned about their incursions into the northern resource zones. Particularly, their aggressive extraction of specific ferrous ores we deemed inefficient to process, and even detrimental to the long-term ecological balance of those regions. They seem to be operating with a complete disregard for sustainable practices, driven by a need for rapid expansion and resource acquisition, almost as if their very survival depends on it. And even the Mesopotamian scholar states have noted unusual astronomical anomalies linked to their expansion. This suggests a level of observational technology and perhaps even propulsion that surprises even their most advanced telescopes, hinting at capabilities we believed were centuries from realization, perhaps even touching upon principles of space-time manipulation that we have only explored theoretically. We must understand what makes these fragmented peoples so resilient, even in their disunity. Our continuous refinement of bronze, the unbroken lineage of our scribal traditions, these are the bedrock of Kemet's power. But is unbroken continuity enough when faced with a rapidly evolving, and entirely different, external force? A force that perhaps, unburdened by the weight of millennia of tradition, is freer to innovate in unexpected, even radical, ways, unconstrained by the correct historical path, or by the ethical frameworks that have guided our development for so long? Ames considered this, his neural interface processing the high scribe's words. He projected complex risk assessments and strategic options in shimmering visual overlays that only he could see. The fragmented ones, high scribe, they speak of revolution, of new beginnings, of discarding the old to forge something entirely new. Our history is one of endless continuation, of perfect, iterative improvement. Perhaps their dark ages forced them to find new paths, new materials, new energy sources, when our path was already perfectly laid. They found iron, a material we discarded as crude, and seem to be pushing its limits in ways we never thought possible. They are developing energy sources that defy our current understanding of material limitations, rumored to harness energies directly from the very fabric of space-time itself, albeit with potentially catastrophic environmental consequences. Their very method of existence is chaotic, but perhaps that chaos breeds a different kind of strength. Exactly, Neb Maat concluded, turning back to the glowing holographic scroll. Its ancient wisdom suddenly felt less absolute, more like a comfortable, yet perhaps limiting, truth. The golden light of the projection cast long shadows across the polished floor, almost like the encroaching uncertainty. He adjusted the amulet at his neck, his fingers tracing its smooth surface. We stand on the accumulated knowledge of 50 centuries, unbroken. But the future demands we look beyond our own history, even as we honor it. The Scroll of Avertion taught us how cooperation saved us from collapse. Now, we must ask if cooperation alone, even with our vast technological superiority and our unparalleled knowledge, is enough to navigate the challenges posed by a world so fundamentally different from our own, a world born from the very chaos we so carefully avoided. He paused, then added, his voice regaining a measure of his customary authority, though tinged with a new solemnity, "Prepare for the council, Ames. This will be an unprecedented session. We must present not just our past triumphs, but a path forward that acknowledges the shadows growing on the periphery of our bronze-forged peace. A path that might require us to, for the first time in millennia, truly understand and perhaps even adapt to the fragmented, chaotic, yet surprisingly innovative world beyond our luminous borders. We may even need to learn from their desperate ingenuity, to find a way to integrate their raw, untamed progress with our ancient, refined wisdom, before their chaos consumes us all or forces us to become something we are not." The great library of Thebes, a bastion of unbroken knowledge, held its breath, awaiting the answers that millennia of continuous history might or might not provide for this new, unsettling challenge. The air, once thick with confidence, now carried a faint, almost imperceptible tremor of uncertainty, a whisper of a future not yet written, even by the most advanced of their algorithms.